Hey dudes! HippoGive is a new app that donates your change by rounding up your everyday transactions to the nearest dollar and gives it to charities and nonprofits of your choosing. I just downloaded the app.
Me too. I have the ACLU, Planned Parenthood, and Martha's Table.
Me too.
Oh.
We're such best friends. If you go to hippogive.networkforgood.org and enter the code DTFU on their site, once you create an account, they'll give you a $10 donation to the charity of your choosing.
Ah.
Be excellent to each other, dudes.
Take my hand.
We're off to Neverland. Oh my God.
Okay. Hey, dude.
Hi, dude. What's up, all the dudes out there?
I hope you love that sneak peek of today's topic.
We'll get to it in a second.
Oh, it's
But-
not Peter Pan, if people are thinking Never Neverland. We already kind of did that.
Yeah, you can find that episode. It's about all the Disney movies we ruined for you.
Something about a prince, a hobbit prince or
Yeah.
something. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm Erin.
I'm Nicole. This is Dude That's Fucked Up.
Yeah.
The podcast.
Yeah. Not like in general. I mean, yeah, in general. Dude, that's fucked
Yeah.
up, but you know.
Are you in the Facebook group yet, you guys?
Yeah, you should join that. It's getting wild.
Oh, it's getting real wild.
What's your favorite thing that's been posted so far? It's very new. There's I think only, I don't know, like 30 people in there now.
Yeah, but very active.
Very active. I posted something about mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise ham cup. It was like a
Yeah.
yogurt cup with
Like a
ham at the
chobani,
bottom.
yeah, like a chobani, like fruit on the bottom, but only a mayonnaise, like a Hellman's yogurt or mayonnaise ham on the bottom, because the onion's the best. But anyway,
The onion.
the onion.
Yeah. I just am loving all of the euphemisms for buttholes that people
Yeah. Oh my God.
offered up. I don't know if people realize, but I made a bunch up. But I was very proud of them.
I think they're pretty good.
Yeah. Satan's kiss, I called a butthole.
Oh, I think I bet that's not even made up. I bet that's like
It could be my subconscious. Like,
your subconscious
I've
of a
heard it
real
before.
thing.
Yeah.
Another allusion to wait, is that the right word? Allusion?
Yeah.
I don't know.
To what?
To this week's episode.
Oh, sure. Yeah. True.
Yeah. Anyway,
What's your
it's really
favorite
fun.
thing?
I really liked somebody put, it was what was it, Jaxie for
As a butthole? Yeah.
Which reminds me of Goatsy.
It reminds me of Yahtzee.
No, you know Goatsy, the like gaping butthole thing.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's like from the days of like Rotten.com and Consumption Junction and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look into that maybe. I don't
You
know if I
probably
want to.
shouldn't.
Yeah,
You don't
I
want to.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I know who posted that, but I feel like we won't call people out from the group because it's private.
If you want to know, you can join the group. How about
Totally.
that?
Join the group, but it's like private what goes on in there. We're just having fun and you're totes missing out and you should be in it and having fun too.
Yeah. Agreed.
Before we get into today's episode and all the fucked up shit this week and some fan mail that we have, we do want to make a few amendments to last week's episode.
Oh, I made an egregious
mathematical
error.
That's fine. We're not mathematicians, but do you
No,
want to...
guys. Shit.
Yeah.
I barely passed all of high school because of math. And then I ended up working on an accounting team later on in my life.
Well,
how about that?
Spreadsheets and spreadsheets.
How about
have
that,
shit
Mr.
built in.
Berg? He was so mean to me because I was so dumb at math. But actually, I'm not. I'm pretty good with numbers in
Listen,
a
we're
practical
smart.
sense.
Yeah, we get by. We know how to balance a checkbook. We know the
my
common
God.
sense math and the important math. And also, we were probably a little too buzzed to be covering such a big topic last week, but it doesn't matter. And we admit it when we're wrong. And that's the difference, you guys.
That's the difference in quality you're getting here as opposed to I mean, anything really, if you want to come, if it comes down to it.
Yeah, this isn't fake news. We try and make it legit news.
Oh, speaking of fake news, I'm going to plug, my husband just made this really fun game with his company. It's called Fake News. You literally can play it. It's an app. Just search it in the iTunes store. There's no Android app for it yet. Sorry, peeps. But yeah, it's super fun. And it's just like a little 8-bit kind of arcade game. And you just like swipe left or right if it's true or false. Super fun.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I play it all the time. And they made like a physical version, which is like a little mini arcade game. That's like you could put on top of a bar in a bar.
It's so awesome. I'm on the leaderboard like 3 or 4 times, but like way at the bottom.
Yeah, oh yeah. I went over to his office last night for an event, and I like played it, and they hooked an Alexa up to it. Oh. So you don't even have to like touch it. You just like say true or false.
Oh, that's so
like
cool.
Like Alexa reads you the like the questions or the headlines, I should say, and you say whether they're true or false. It's so awesome.
Oh, let's post the today. Well, we should post the app into the
I'll do that.
The group.
Yeah.
But yeah, people who might not be in the group yet, they'll hear about it.
Don't miss out. Come have fun.
When this episode comes out. Yeah.
Fun and games.
Yeah, so there was a little snafu in the population number, I think.
Yeah, I said something like 5 billion, and I was trying to do a comparative population, like, kind of breakdown. What I should have said, based on today's current population, which is 7.5 billion people in the world, and if you, like, take 45% of that and, like, imagine that many people died from the plague, it'd be closer to like 3.4 billion. So sorry about that.
I mean,
no, it's pretty. I mean,
okay, it's egregious when you think of billions because those are a big number. But if you think of 3.4 to 5, that's not that big.
Well, if you understood my reasoning for why I made the calculation I made, which I forgot what the population of the world was basically.
Oh, whatever. I didn't even know it was 7.5. So
yeah,
whatever.
Well. Fucking, I don't care anyway. So I do care. I listen. We're both very we're very self-aware people.
Yeah. Also, I like to be right. So.
I like to be right. Yeah. Or right-ish. Like
right-ish,
like I fully will own up to any of my mistakes because you know what? I'm a dilettante. What do you think I'm doing this podcast for?
What is that? I don't even know what that means.
It's like somebody who like dabbles in a little bit of everything.
Oh, yeah. Same. Oh, cool.
But it's like a negative term. I don't think it's a negative term. I can have a conversation about anything with anyone at any time.
I'm fucking great at trivia. So
yeah,
if people think that's a bad thing, then I don't want to be your friend.
No apologies.
No, yeah. I'm not an apologist. We also said that Ebola is pneumatic, which it's not really, but it can be spread if there are fluids that get coughed up onto someone's face.
Yeah, which can totally happen.
Yeah,
but it's not like something you can inhale like on a microscopic level, like I guess, which is more what we were kind of thinking of.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Basically Ebola is just when you come in contact with like blood, spit, semen, any bodily fluid. So just clarifying because we made it was a little confusing. And then another thing, we covered a lot of ground and we were drunk while doing it, so
yeah,
a lot of corrections. Mongols probably weren't the first ones to use biological warfare, but like it was like the first like really hardcore recorded instance of it,
which I think I say in the episode. It's just like low key, but I think I made the note. But yeah, it was one of the first recorded instances, but yeah, it potentially happened before that.
Yeah, like the Hittites, which is like existed in like the 1500s to, or not the 1500s, 1500 to 1200 BCE. So that's like a long time ago, before the Common Era.
Yeah.
Which is technically before Christ, the way we do things now. But I say BCE, before the Common Era, not before Christ.
Yeah.
Because I'm an anthropologist at heart, so, and that's how you do it in anthropology.
Yeah.
All right. And also, One more thing. Just to clarify, I might have sounded like I was like we were like a little ethnocentric about like Western Europe being the ones that were like the hardest hit by the bubonic plague, which they were. But Asia definitely was decimated pretty hard by the plague. Like the bubonic plague killed like probably 25 million people during that same time. So,
yeah.
Or like like in that time period, like span. So,
yeah.
Just want to point that out. Don't want to gloss over any history that is not white people history.
Yeah. Well, and I think it just wasn't as fast and like it just didn't happen in the same way that it happened in Europe, right?
It was,
so that's why it's not like that's why we focus on that.
Yeah. They also had a lot of war going on too, so people are like, it was just crazy there.
Yeah, it was just fucking crazy.
We can't tell.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all the corrections so far. But those are very sorry about any egregious errors.
Well, and only one of these was pointed out by a listener, so
yeah.
I think we're doing okay. We're self-correcting.
That's right.
Which is nice.
I was already gonna like correct myself on a couple of the things.
Yeah.
And then that was like, all right, well, we might as well just run the gamut here.
I wasn't gonna correct anything because I don't care. Okay, so what is your what has been fucked up this week that you've been paying attention to?
I have been totally freaked out about this dude who killed these 4 guys, or allegedly killed these 4 guys I think it's in Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. I was gonna ask where this was happening.
I think so. Yeah, he like these 4 dudes like went missing, and everybody's like, "What the fuck? Where'd they go?" And then just like yesterday, this dude was arrested and confessed to murdering these 4 guys. Like one of the guys' bodies was found on his property, like identified, and then they found other bodies too. So
what? Were these 4 guys friends?
And I don't know. Like all the like details are like still coming out. I bet we'll know lots more just within the next couple days. But I just got I keep getting news alerts about it, so I'm just like, oh my god, this is so gnarly. They found, like, it's so crazy. They found the body that they recovered, the first one that they identified, they found it like 12 and a half feet down in the ground, which like a cadaver dog found it. Which is incredible.
Hole.
Yeah, that's really deep. And so people are like, how the fuck did he do it? But apparently he has like, it's like a big piece of property, and he has like a backhoe and stuff on the property. So that's probably how he dug that hole. But holy fucking shit.
That's crazy.
Cadaver dogs, man.
They're
powerful.
No joke. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I've been following that because
the dogs are awesome, not this story.
Oh, no. This is horrifying.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It seems really weird. Like, it sounds like he might be schizophrenic. Like, it's really, I don't know all the deets yet, but I've just been following it, and it seems really, really fucked up. So.
Well, usually people that kill people aren't 100% when it comes to
They're not
their
100.
Upstairs computer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beep, bop, boop, boo.
Beep, bop, boop, burp, burp. I went to the dentist this morning, and I might have to get adult braces, which is like,
you know what? My dentist keeps telling me I should get them again too, and
what?
I'm like,
really?
Yeah, because I have my my teeth are kind of collapsing in a little bit.
Oh.
In my palate.
Oh my god, we can do it together.
Fuck that. I had braces for like 4 years and a goddamn palate spreader. I'm not doing that shit.
I know. I had all that stuff too, except my my canine touches my bottom teeth, which can be like annoying sometimes, and my teeth don't touch in the front, so it's hard to eat. Like your teeth overlap. See, there's
they're
like a big gap.
Up. Oh yeah.
And so it's hard to eat things, but also I'm like grinding down, like because they touch and they're not supposed to. I'm like grinding my back teeth down, which could lead to other bad things. And she was like, it might not hurt now, but you could get like lockjaw and shit.
TMJ, man.
I know, so I'm like, oh my god. And she was like, oh, and by the way, you're not a candidate for Invisalign.
Fuck.
And if I have to get adult braces, I'm going full adult braces, like metal mouth, But also I was like laying there.
Get like some like rubber bands.
Yeah, like have them changed for like the holidays.
Yeah.
Black and orange for Halloween.
Whatever.
That was my favorite.
Whatever mood you're feeling, like teal and purple.
Yeah, it was like interesting. And then I was like laying there, and the hygienist, or the girl that was like kind of doing the cleaning, the dentist had left. I have to go get a consultation and stuff, so maybe it's not the case, but she was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then I was like, "Oh my god, I had braces 20 years ago, and I don't want to go back."
You would think by now they'd have figured out something, but I mean Invisalign, but you know what I mean, like how.
Yeah. I know. It's weird. Anyway, more to come. I'll keep you guys posted. Well,
I hope that doesn't happen. I mean, if it's affecting your bite and stuff, though, and it's, like, uncomfortable, it's not good.
Yeah, well, and I don't want to, like, crack a tooth or something because there's, like, pressure. I don't know. Like, if something worse could happen because of it, I should just nip it in the bud. But yeah. We'll see.
Well, one of my teeth doesn't have a root because when I was, like, a kid, it, like, grew really high up in my... Like, it was, like, a full-blown, like, random snaggle tooth that got pulled down. And because it was, like, it wasn't it was, like, so fast that it pulled down, it, like, wore away the root, trying to, like, get it all aligned. I was in pain for, like, years of my life.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, because of my fucking teeth. So I'm like, fuck that. I don't care. Teeth are fine. So I'm just always afraid that that tooth is going to fall out.
Does it have the pulp still, though? The tooth pulp?
It's really pulpy, yeah.
Yeah, it's like that one doesn't have a root, so it's extra pulpy because there's like room for it in there.
It's just like holding on for dear life, though, I think. Like it's like wedged in there really well, so pray for me. Because it's like right in the front. It's like my eye tooth, so.
Oh, yeah.
Right there.
Yeah, the tooth next to your big tooth. Your big front teeth.
My buck teeth.
Your buck teeth. But yeah, I like called my mom and I was like, "Oh, Mom," and then I was like, "At least it'll be good for like comedy stuff, if anything." And she's like, "Yeah," and then I was like, "Maybe I'll get jobs, like get hired onto like shows or something where they need like a nerdy person, because I'll actually be like, 'Oh, hey guys, it's good to see you again.'" Like,
seriously. Hi. Can you just is there parking for Segways here?
I just rented this from a company called Segs in the City.
Is there a second location by any chance called Segs in the City too? No offense to anybody with braces.
No, I might join you soon. So, well, it's karma because I once made fun of a girl at a New Year's Eve party on the TV. Not making fun of anyone in the room, but I was like, "Oh, look at that nerd, adult braces," and then there was a girl sitting next to me with adult braces, and I was
fucking instant karma.
Oh my God. I was mortified.
It's instant karma and
it's a long con.
Con. Yeah.
Long-term karma. Anywho, all right.
Okay. We
fan mail.
We got a really nice note from one of our dudes that listens. His name's Rob, and I'm going to read part of the email he wrote to us. It's really very sweet. So we're always like curious about how people find us on Instagram. So he wrote back to us and just shot us a note, and it was really nice. And so he said, and it was because of Google Play.
Yeah, Quincy.
So he said, first of all, he really he said, I think that he listens to a lot of podcasts, and he says, the ones that I listen to that are hosted by men aren't really that funny, but the ones that are hosted by women are fucking hilarious. Yeah, fucking duh. And then he said that he tells this story, and this is where I'm going to pick up because he was talking about where he found us. So he really liked the first couple episodes, the first 3, and he couldn't stop laughing, so he decided to download them all. And he continues, "The next day I pretty much binge listened to you guys, and now I'm addicted. You guys are hilarious. Like, legit, I can't stop laughing when you guys laugh." Yeah, I mean, It's infectious, I guess.
Yeah, same.
He said your show's awesome and filled with fun facts about fucked up stuff, but it's cool to learn about weird stuff. Oh, and something funny happened one day at work. My coworker saw me laughing hysterically, and they came up and asked me what I was laughing at, and I said I was listening to something funny, and they asked me what it was, and I said I was listening to two girls talk about Bigfoot's dick. I mean, that's funny.
Yeah, that's funny.
I don't care who you are. That's funny. And he said, legit, no joke, quote, dude, that's fucked up. For real. He actually said that. And I laughed even harder. I was like, yeah, that's the point. LOL. Anyways, just wanted to tell you my story, and I love you guys. You guys are my favorite podcast. Keep up the awesome work. Your number one Canadian/male fan from Rob. Oh man, aww. That is so sweet. Thanks, Rob. Really appreciate it. We'll keep trying to make you laugh, hopefully.
I have an old coworker that might contest that number one Canadian fan. A title. His name's Albert. I don't know if he still listens since I don't work there and I'm not like pushing it on everyone anymore. But if he is, let me know, Albs, because that shit's crazy.
Wow.
And you guys might have to duke it out in the Facebook group.
I also have some dude friends who might have something to say about that. So
are they Canadian?
No.
Oh, I'm saying Canadian and a dude.
Oh, I see. Like, oh, yes, of course.
So, yeah.
Well, appreciate that Rob. Thank you.
Yeah, Rob, I laughed really hard the first time I read that, and then I was borderline tearing up. I was so I thought it was so cute that someone responded, dude, that's fucked up. And he's like, exactly. And Pete was like, oh.
I know. I read. Excuse me. I read it out loud to DJ, and he loved it. He thought it was really sweet. Feeling the love.
We have another fan mail, which is actually going to segue into our topic this week because it's a topic. It was like an email about fucked up shit and like a suggestion for a topic, and it comes from our very, very, very good friend Jessie, who is kind of like the third musketeer of mine and Erin's. And we laugh really hard together, but then if you add in Jessie,
oh my God.
It's like, okay, I have to tell you guys something that happened. So we all call each other Meathead, and there's like an origin story to this.
Not because we work out really hard.
No. And it's like Meat Herd. It's like Meatwad and Meathead.
It's a little voice that we do.
Yeah, it's like the Meatwad voice from
Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Yeah. So we were in Hawaii quite a long time ago now, after we graduated college, and with my family, and my dad smokes a lot of weed, and and so we got a little bit and we smoked it, and then
we had some Maui Wowie.
Yeah, we had some Maui Wowie.
We were in Maui smoking weed. It was exactly what you think it was.
And we were drinking Mai Tais, and we went to dinner, and there's a picture I've posted to the DTFU page, just the podcast page, not the group, but I'll put it in there too if it helps.
Yeah.
Where you can
make that the background image.
Oh, good. Yeah. You can tell we're pretty messed up, and we're at dinner with my family, and both Erin and I look pretty funny, and Jessie's there too, but she's sitting across from us, and
she probably took the picture.
Oh, maybe. No, I think my mom did.
Oh, okay.
Maybe Jessie was in the bathroom or something. I don't know what happened. But anyway, so we're pretty messed up. We go back to the hotel, and we're just being weird. And I think we smoked more, and Erin was eating her leftover beef stir fry, and we were just being like fucking weirdos. And then for some reason, Erin thought it would be funny to do a somersault on her bed. So she backed up and did a somersault and didn't realize her beef stir fry was on the bed and fucking went head first into her beef stir fry and did a somersault, and then we basically sat there crying, laughing for 20 minutes. It was the funniest thing, and I don't even have to be high to think that's fucking hysterical. And so she literally had beef in her hair, and so we called her Meathead, and then it just stuck for everyone.
Oh my god, I have tears. It's still funny.
I can still see your face after you sat up, because you were like, you like sat up all quick and you were kind of surprised, and there was just like beef stir fry in your hair. Oh, so good. Oh god.
I'm like sweating and crying and laughing so hard right now remembering that.
There were so many funny things that happened that trip, but we'll save those for another time.
Oh my god. Woo. Get my shit together.
Yeah, pull it together. I'm gonna read Jessie's email.
Okay, so yeah.
It has emojis in it and stuff too. I'll try and like communicate them as best as I can, if I feel they're necessary. Okay. Hi, Frans. It's your old Fran, Jessie. She says Frans with A's, and it's cute. Okay, so Avi, I was listening to your podcast today and laughing my ass off when I started to remember this crazy shit that happened to me last night. And just a suggestion, but you guys should totally do an episode on sleep paralysis versus being possessed by demons. For real, though, I've been having this shit happen to me, sleep paralysis, on and off for like 10 years now, and I'm not religious and obviously search for scientific answers when this shit happens, but it's gnarly, dude. One time I was sure there was a man in my room who came over and strangled me until I stopped breathing. Last night, an invisible force came out of my closet and picked me up and turned me around so that I was facing Enrique, who's her husband. So fucked up. He even told me this morning that he heard me screaming and hyperventilating. Fucker didn't even wake my ass up. So there's that. He listens to this too, so I wonder if hopefully he knows that we put this in here. Enrique, fucking pull it together, dude. I'm too lazy to go into the background of how this happens, but I believe it's triggered from anxiety and somehow your brain wakes you up while you're still asleep. That could be totally wrong, though. Now, she clapped. Now. There are many, many people like my mom who are religious. She also has frequent sleep paralysis and honestly thinks a demon is trying to kill her and told me this as a kid, and it really pisses me off that people try to pass this off as being possessed. I never thought about it, but it scared me so bad that this is probably the reason it all started for me. Asshole mom.
Oh, your mom is very nice, Jessie.
Yeah, she has like a cry laughing face next to it. Also, it's sad that people think that, but I'm pretty sure there are like mediums, quote unquote, that prey on these people and feed into them that they're being possessed, which fuels anxiety, which makes sleep paralysis return more frequently. Anyway, that was a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo that I cannot confirm is all correct, but that's why you guys should tell me all about it and make me pee my pants laughing at the same time. Okay, love you, bye.
Oh, girl, we got you.
Oh, girl, we got you because we love you. We love you too,
meathead.
Meathead. So this episode is for Jessie because today we're going to talk about sleep paralysis.
Yes. Holy fucking shit, man. It's so scary. I got kind of creeped out, actually.
Yeah.
Like, learning about this. I don't know. Some of the stuff that people, first of all, it's definitely on a spectrum. So there's really, really extreme cases, and then there's, like, really, kind of more mild cases of it. So, yeah. But what is it? Basically, it's exactly what it sounds like.
Fucking scary.
It's fucking scary. It's the temporary inability to move while you're falling asleep or while you're waking up. So, you just can't move a muscle. Sometimes you can open your eyes, but you can like kind of wiggle your fingers or your toes. But you still like have the awareness of everything that's going on around you. Like you are awake technically, but your brain is still kind of in this dream state.
Yeah. And your body is still it's in a state that is supposed to happen. So like you're supposed to have that happen to you, but it's just that like wires get crossed and your brain wakes up to a point where you're conscious when you shouldn't be.
Right. So sometimes like some of the symptoms are that you can open your eyes but you can't move. Some people get a buzzing or staticky sound, so there's like audible weird things happening. Sometimes people feel kind of like this electric shock feeling throughout their body, that's for some people, not everybody. Some people have full-blown hallucinations and see things that aren't there.
Like Jessie.
Yeah, like Jessie, like our friend, like it could be like a shadowy figure or multiple people. A lot of people see an old woman, like a tall man, or can see like gremlin-y like creatures. Fuck, that's so scary.
It's so scary. It's amazing. Like, I don't know. It's, I haven't experienced it, so
I haven't either.
Yeah, a lot of this is like, it's weird because you're like, oh, that sounds so weird, but I could totally believe it. I've had horrible nightmares that you feel like are real when you wake up. So,
and you can't, like, and if it happened where your body reacted out of sequence, it'd be really terrifying.
Yeah.
And then some people in very extreme cases, like our friend Jessie, experience the feeling of like a physical presence squeezing the air out of them. Some people say it's like they're being choked or something is sitting on their chest. So
like a pressure. Yeah.
A pressure. Yeah. So this is like occurring during the REM cycle of sleep. So
rapid eye movement.
Rapid eye movement.
It's creepy. Your eyes are like wah, 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 under your eyelids, like
yeah,
going all around. That's freaky.
It's really, really crazy. Yeah. So we're kind of like explaining a little bit about how your body is supposed to shut down. Like the paralysis is a natural function of your brain that it's basically to protect you while you're sleeping, because it is a natural thing for humans to dream. And if you were to kind of act out everything that you were doing in your dream, you could hurt yourself. So your body does this thing where it does this paralyzing kind of little thing for you, which is pretty cool. Yeah. And the paralysis function is called atonia. Yeah. So just so you know. Yeah, I personally have never had any sleep issues that I know of. So this is what makes it so scary. I mean, even for somebody who's never experienced anything like it, I maybe have had like maybe an instance of like light sleep paralysis where I've like woken up, but I just could not move my limbs. Yeah. Or I could, but I just like, they were so heavy. And it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm so tired, I can't get up. It was like a thing where there was like, I couldn't compel my limbs to move. It was weird, but that might have been a real light case of it. Who knows?
Limbs,
probably not.
I compel you. So creepy.
Yeah, so creepy.
I've had dreams where like I can't talk. Like I need to talk, like I'm being kidnapped or something. So I guess it's more of a nightmare, but and I'm like I need to yell for help or like something and I physically can't. And I've had dreams where I can't move.
I've had dreams where they're like really lucid. Like I've confused like some dreams for reality. Like and I've woken up where it took me like a full 30 minutes to kind of calm myself down. Like, oh my God. Because I was like hysterical in the dream. Or I should say the nightmare. Like something really horrifying has happened. Like there's a couple dreams I could still remember having where I was like, oh my God, that was the most fucked up thing.
And if you're worried about like potentially having this, or like you're not sure, or you're having other sleep symptoms, you could always talk to your doctor about it, but also they may send you to do a sleep study. And I've done one of these, and they're just really weird because someone's legit just watching you all night sleep.
That's so creepy.
They're recording you. They're listening to your breathing. You have like all these not like node things hooked up, and it was like, I didn't think I slept at all. Like when they came in, they kind of go in the intercom and they're like, good morning, hello, wake up or whatever. And you're like, oh my God. And I was like, did I sleep? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, oh, I feel like I was up all night because it was fucking creepy and weird. So yeah, it's weird. But yeah, you can totally tell if people have it. There was a guy on YouTube who like had video of his own sleep study.
I watched that. Yeah. It's so scary.
It's so scary. You can tell because he's like, if you just looked at it and he wasn't kind of narrating it, I don't think you'd be able to tell anything scary was going on. You'd have to be looking really close or like be an expert, but he's walking you through like all the things that are happening. He's like, oh, here, this is where I wake up. I can't move. You can see I'm like trying to wiggle my finger and like yell, but he's just making like creepy garbly noises.
It's like sad. It's really, I don't know. It's like you're so helpless when you're going through this, and it's just like, like watching that like made me like, it made my heart hurt a little bit watching him. It was like, because he's like so calm and explaining it. He's not like being like, he's not like weirded out. I mean, he is weirded out by it. He's like, oh, this is like what happened, and this is how I felt, and this is like what it felt like. And I don't know. It's just, he's just so helpless, and it's sad. So I'm so sorry if anybody out there like deals with this. It's so awful.
He was very like scientific about it though. Like he was like, this happens. I know when he knows now when it's happening, which is like a good thing because he can like calm himself down. Yeah. But not everybody can.
Yeah. I mean, if you're already anxious, this is like probably why this is a reason this can happen to you. Yeah. There's not one really good explanation for it, which is what makes it so frustrating and so tough for people to deal with, because you might do a sleep study and it not happen, or you could do sleep studies for years and years and it just, you can't really duplicate the intensity of like things that you might have experienced in the past. So it's just tough. It's terrifying for some people, for most people who have to experience this. I think the stat is really weird. We can get to this later, but it's a very strange stat. It's 8 to 50% of people who will experience sleep paralysis. We can talk about that later, but I just thought that was funny.
Oh, well, and I was like, what the fuck kind of stat is this? 8 to 50%? There's no science to that then. Like, there's literally no math or anything involved, but I think it was like a Wikipedia stat, and I think they just sourced it from like 5 different places. So
sure,
I think it's 40% is like,
and I think the Mayo Clinic had a stat that like 3 million cases are reported in the U.S. alone per year.
Yeah.
So that's a lot.
That's a lot, and I think there was a psychologist in an article from The Atlantic that I read that said it's close to 40% of people will experience it at least once in their life. So you may have experienced it and then you never experience it again. It's the people like our friend Jessie who make up 6% of everyone who will have repeat experiences. So you know, a lot of people may experience it as a one-off and it just kind of happens, and we'll talk about like what triggers it, but like you may never experience it again and that's it. But there are 6% of people who are kind of dealing with this as an ongoing scary thing. So
and it would be, I think the highest prevalence is among students and psychiatric patients. So because they're under a lot of stress. Those particular groups of people are under a lot of stress.
Well, and that's like what you said, like anxiety and stress are like a huge trigger for this. And if you think about it, like I think about when I've had the most issues with like my sleep patterns and getting good quality sleep, it's always when I'm stressed, and I'll wake up in the middle of the night thinking about a work thing or whatever. Or did I offend someone on this podcast when I posted on Tuesday nights? And I, and I'm just like, oh, you're just like replaying things in your head, and it's like, oh, okay, because your brain won't shut off and like calm down, and so a lot of that stuff could bring this on.
And you could be like the chillest person in the world in most cases, but you might even not realize you're stressed out about something. Like I think when you're like working really hard or you're in school or whatever, you are operating on a level of high stress that you just might become accustomed to and not even realize that you have stress in your life. This is something that happened to me when I was like working in kind of a high stress workplace. Where like the stakes were high and you couldn't fuck up. Yeah. And like the things that you do like have consequences beyond anything, which I don't know. Anyway, you operate at such a high level of stress that you don't even realize how your stress will manifest. Like you think, oh, I'll have, I won't be able to sleep, or I'll be a bitch, or I'll be, you know, like I'll be grouchy, or I'll sleep really hard. I don't know.
Yeah.
And the ways that we think of that are quote unquote normal ways of stress manifesting might not be the same for everybody. So, or you just might not even realize, like, you're just like dealing with your day to day and not even realize that you're stressed. So it's good to always check in with yourself.
If there's two things I know, it's that your sphincter will betray you, but also your subconscious will betray you.
That's right.
It's not just your sphincter, you guys.
Those are two things that you really have no control over.
Yeah.
If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen.
Listen, pressure builds both in your intestines and in your brain, let's say, or your levels of stress and anxiety, and there needs to be a release, and it usually happens when you least expect it, or when you're not expecting it. It's also when you least expect it. So
yeah, it's the same thing.
It's the exact fucking thing. Same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I used to the way that my body would manifest stress, or like the way it would come out, is I would get like back spasms.
Oh.
So I would wake up and like get in the shower, and I'd like go to shampoo my hair, and then I'd be like, ah! I can't move. Yeah. So.
Oh my God.
That was a fun thing.
I get really twitchy eye. I guess that's when it's like low level stress. I also I am a stress eater. I'm an emotional eater and a stress eater. So I usually gain weight, and then I'm like, oh, I wonder if I've been stressed lately since I'm up 20 pounds or whatever. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Anyway, sorry, enough about us.
I know. But yeah, so stress and anxiety, sleep deprivation, which is driven by this, which is really fucked up. It's like this little
endless cycle.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Awful.
Some prescription meds can kind of lead to this. A lot of things that have to do with changing your brain, you're kind of throwing your brain into an imbalance.
Yeah.
Through stress or anxiety or sleep deprivation, like all these things, prescription meds, some like disorders like bipolar disorder, all of these things could really kind of trigger this.
Yeah.
So you don't have to just worry about this. You also have to worry about a little gargoyle coming in the middle of the night and crushing your chest. So.
Or a little old hag coming in.
Or a little hag. Or like, oh, little grandma and me.
Yeah. Also, there's just like a couple things that could contribute to it, just real quick. Sleeping in a fixed supine position can increase chances of an occurrence. That's like when you're just laying flat on your back, like Wednesday Addams style.
Oh, I was like, what is that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a thing. The overlapping REM cycles, the neural function that actually regulates that could be out of balance. You could have an imbalance of melatonin. Melatonin's a hormone that's naturally produced in the pineal gland.
Ew, oh my God.
Pineal. That helps regulate sleep and wakefulness. I highly recommend melatonin myself when I can't sleep. It's a nice little cure for...
Don't take too much.
No, it's not good for you. You shouldn't take it for more than like a week straight, I think, because it could really fuck up your actual melatonin levels. It's more like if you're traveling a lot and you need to get into a better sleep cycle, and you need a little help with it. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so there's not, like I said, there's no single scientific explanation for all the effects and symptoms, so that's why this is a really hard to nail down thing, and why it eludes the, I guess, the diagnosing of this, because it's on a major spectrum. People experience really mild cases, and then some people experience very, very intense cases. So
yeah, I think the most fucked up thing about this is that if you experience this and you find yourself talking about it to someone more frequently or thinking about it more frequently, it actually will happen more. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy where you talk about having it, and then that night, like people have reported that have it, they'll talk about it to a friend or a doctor or something that day, and then that night they'll have it. It's like they're wiring their brain to do it again. And
That's
it's really
that
fucked up.
subconscious.
Yeah, and I think that's why I had a nightmare last night, because I was
That's
just
why
like,
that's when I had the really mild
Yeah.
form. It was when I was researching all this.
yeah. So sorry. I hope we don't give anyone sleep paralysis. That'd be
I know.
horrible and fucked up. But
Well, we'll close it on a good note then.
Yeah.
When we get to the end.
if you've never had it, you won't have it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This is also a podcast for entertainment value, and we relinquish all responsibility on what happens when you sleep at night. Okay. Anyway.
Anything contained herein.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Yeah. So
enter at your own risk.
I think how this manifests, we've already talked a little bit about it. It's so different from person to person, culture to culture. But we do know that it goes back like into ancient times. Because there are like stories and there's art that comes from something like this happening to people. They just didn't have like a neurobiological way to explain it like we do now.
Yeah.
But
since time immortal, since humans have been able to like record stuff, this has been a thing that's happened to them, to us as a species. Like, we get the word nightmare from it's Old English, and also I think it's like a Nordic or Dutch word. It comes from the word
German.
mare.
Yeah. Like German, Dutch. Yeah.
Yeah. The word mare is basically like means a supernatural creature, like a succubus or old hag. And that's where that word comes from.
And then I think over time, does it mean horse in there also, or just for us in English?
I don't know. Maybe.
But yeah, because they have like the Dutch word nachtmare, or if that's how you say it. I think that's close. Hey, go me.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Good job.
Thank you. That was how it manifested itself in some instances. Like people would report, like we've talked about, a gremlin or like an evil devil-y thing, or like sometimes it would be like a crazy-eyed horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Creepy. So like we were saying, over time, every single culture has experienced some form or fashion of sleep paralysis, and they've all ascribed like their own kind of folklore to it. It's inspired countless works of art and literature. What's creepy and weird is that based on your cultural belief system and your experiences, and one thing that's really consistent across time and cultures is the imagery of an old woman or an old hag, which is so fucking creepy.
That is creepy.
Because we as a culture don't like old
people.
Women.
Oh,
old women.
Oh, yeah.
Women aren't allowed to age.
Yeah, true. It's weird.
And that's scary to us. I think it's like a deep-seated like form of fear of, I don't know.
Oh my God, this is reminding me of something scary. I think.
Oh my God.
Okay. My cousin is like, I think she's 10 years older than me. And she went to Europe, like maybe in high school or something. So I was a kid, and she brought me back a Nordic. It's like a Nordic hag doll, and it looks like a little troll doll.
Oh my God.
And she had a little walking stick, and she had a really long pointy nose and beady eyes, and her hair was like gray and really fluffy, and it was just like a little ceramic thing. Oh my fucking God. I used to have nightmares about that thing.
Why would she do that?
I don't know. It was mean. Yeah, now that I think about it. This isn't the Fanny Show cousin, by the way. Just so you know, I didn't have an older by 10 years cousin doing a Fanny Show with me.
Again, not a pussy show for all of our...
Butt show. Really, we just danced. We just danced.
Which just as bad.
Yeah, we just danced with our butts.
Out of context, sounds terrible.
But I remember having such vivid nightmares about it. This is what I did with it. I like wrapped it in a piece of fabric. I put it in a plastic like Stater Brothers bag. I put it in another backpack, and I put it in the very, very back corner of my closet. Like it was like I was like, no, you are not getting out.
God.
And I wouldn't like my mom would be like, oh, we need to clean out your closet, and I'd be like, not that. Like, just leave that there. It's like, I don't want to touch that. It scared the shit out of me.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna have to find one that looks like it online.
Do you still have it?
No, I gave it away, or I like was like when I finally worked up the courage, I like took it to the garbage, like probably on trash day, so that I knew it would be gone by the end of the day.
Fuck that.
Yeah. Anyway,
it's probably haunting somebody now.
It's probably Ew, what would someone do with it? I don't even know. It's so frightening.
Ugh.
But yeah, I could see how that'd be scary if you're sleeping.
Yeah.
And you see that.
Creepy as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess
sorry.
I was going to say the Dutch had the word nachtmerrie, but literally every culture has developed like some language to describe what is actually happening, which is sleep paralysis, from the beginning of time. Like every language has this idea.
Yeah, and as we all know, what always ends up happening is the only way for people to explain this, like through time, has been through religion.
Yeah.
It's people consider you're like, if you're experiencing this, that you are possessed, because there can be some like physical symptoms of it. And I mean, you
could probably pull a muscle or something like.
Oh, that's where all my back spasms probably came from. But yeah, I like listening to I like watched a couple YouTube like documentary things on YouTube, and one that I watched was The Entity. Not that horrible cheesy movie from the 80s.
Were you at that sleepover when we watched it?
Yes.
Do you remember how her boobs
Her
move?
boobs? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. It looks like little fingerprints in her boobs.
Ugh. Yeah, there's a movie, a fictional movie.
Yeah.
That is like really creepy, and it's called The Entity, but this is not that. This is like accounts of people who experience like severe forms of sleep paralysis, and it's really fucked up. And it was interesting, a couple of the people in the documentary, they had all experienced some form of like childhood trauma and like a really like hard upbringing, so there's probably some like emotional and like psychological issues that underlie a lot of the how they're manifesting whatever through their sleep paralysis. Is maybe where that comes from, but who fucking knows? It's so crazy.
Yeah.
It's really intense. It's a pretty wild. There's like one guy who he had I don't think it was necessarily sleep paralysis. It was like he would have like these intense night terrors where he would get up and he was like chasing. It seemed like he was chasing something away from him. It was really weird. And he like was totally asleep, and he like hit his wife like on accident while she was trying to wake him up. That's why people like why you're not supposed to try to wake people up who are sleepwalking, because they could have a violent reaction and they could hurt themselves or you.
Oh my God.
So yeah. And then they like did a sleep study with him, and he had sleep paralysis also. So he had all kinds of crazy shit happening with him, and it was just really intense and sad. So
oh my God.
Poor guy. Yeah.
Yeah, you could see easily how, I mean, because really what's happening is it's just your brain is putting these things in front of you, and your subconscious is kicking in. So if you come from a deeply religious background and you've been raised into, thinking that there's the devil or Satan, or, you'll be punished if you do bad things, subconsciously that's what you'll like manifest in your sleep paralysis. Or if you come from like Nordic cultures where there's trolls or old ladies or whatever, it's like things that you hear will come after you or are bad. Well, that's what you'll see, I think, is what they say.
Yeah. And there's the idea of like, of large groups of populations having the same mental archetypes is a thing that happens too. So
Yeah.
and that gets perpetuated. It's almost like a virus where it kind of just like it stays in your subconscious because that's the culture you're raised in.
Right.
And the things that scare us, like on a reptilian level, like where we have our fright, flight, or fight instincts, those are kind of built in, but then there's also like on the cultural level, the like kind of, these the imagery that scares
Right.
us.
Yeah.
So, and that gets built into your subconscious. So that's interesting.
And one thing I thought was cool is that, like, if you look back at art through the beginning of time, there are a lot of sculptures and paintings that depict something similar to, like, coming from different cultures, they're different parts of the world, but they all have this, basically sleep paralysis, and they've kind of created art to speak to it. And so there's lots of instances where there's like a person and they're asleep and then there's something sitting on their chest. And there's a really famous oil painting from 1781, and it's called The Nightmare by Henry Fuseli. And what's cool is that these have existed forever, but no one really ever thought about them, or maybe they connected them, but people kind of attributed all different ideas to them. But what was cool is I think in the 80s, I think, or maybe 90s, no, maybe 60s. Fucking, I don't know. Jesus. There was a psychiatrist, Jerome Schenek, and he kind of tied the sleep paralysis and what we were learning about it to all of these instances of art through this specific painting. Like,
then that's that archetypal kind of like buried. It gets downloaded into your subconscious because of these past things.
Yeah, but it's so cool because like people described this is happening to me, and then you could see in art through history, like people depicting this. It's like, oh wow, it's like things haven't changed. People still experience this, but no one ever really knew what it was until like the last few decades.
I don't know why I'm thinking of this, but it reminds me of the cats that where you put like a cucumber or a zucchini behind them. And they don't realize it's there, and they turn around and they fucking jump in the air. I know that that's not a nice comparison, but like, why do they do that? Because it's like downloaded into their little brains that it's something dangerous.
They're just wired for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
My cat's not.
I know. I saw you posted that video. I was like, oh.
He doesn't give a fuck.
Is it mean to do that? I don't know. Like,
it is mean. I know. It's a mean thing to do.
Oh, I don't know. Okay.
It stresses him out.
Well, well, not yours.
Well, I didn't think that he was gonna get scared.
Yeah.
But he gets scared at random stuff. So.
Oh.
I don't know.
I love those videos though. They're so funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
Anyway. Yeah. Anyway. And then one thing that's interesting as kind of cultures evolve and new ideas are introduced, alien abductions have been reported as being like what manifests itself during sleep paralysis for people who are really into that. So you could see how your culture or your personal experience will dictate what it is that you experience when you're in this state. It's so interesting. I wonder what I would see.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, maybe like giant like dicks surrounding me, or like I don't know.
Like a really ugly one?
Yeah. Ugh. I don't know. I'm not afraid of dicks. I don't know. Well, because I don't know. That's really interesting because I wasn't raised with any religion. I wasn't raised in a place where it was like, I don't know, like there was not like we go camping all the time and we were like in nature a lot. So there's not really, and everything was like really practical, and I don't know.
I think it'd be like a Dracula or something for me because I feel like I was really obsessed. That was like the first adult movie I watched when I was young.
That's really sexual too.
Yeah.
I have a lot of sex dreams.
Oh, yeah. I was having them for a while, but I haven't had one in a while.
I haven't either. I'm gonna like try to get that in my subconscious.
Right, have a good
so I can have nice dreams. Yeah.
Where you wake up and you're like, oh.
Ooh. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really have any more. Did you want to talk about this thing?
Yeah, so, okay, I found an article in The Atlantic, also, a different article, that was a review of a book by author Shelley Adler called Sleep Paralysis, Nightmares, Nocebos, and the Mind-Body Connection. A nocebo is the opposite of a placebo. So...
You would think that would not be the case. Like, no, SIBO.
Yeah, nocebo.
Oh, I guess so.
Well, no, you think it'd be... But then you think a placebo would be called a yes-sibo.
Yeah. Or a C-SIBO.
Yasibo.
Or a we-SIBO. I don't know.
So, there was something that happened in the 1980s where 117 men who had immigrated to the U.S. from Laos died. And they were from people called the, I'm going to say Hmong. It's H-M-O-N-G, but I feel like the H is probably silent because it's probably not Hmong. I don't know. It might be Hmong or Hmong. But they are a people that had very, So they explained these 117 men dying through something they labeled SUNS, which is sudden unexpected nocturnal death syndrome. Sudden and unexpected are pretty much the same thing. It could have just been called UNS, I would imagine. Anyway, that's just an observation. But the Laotians, they have very strong cultural and religious beliefs. And they were in the time of the Vietnam War, they were involved in that, but it was a little bit of a separate, like, communist war. And because of it, they disrupted a lot of their traditions and rituals because they were fighting in this war. They weren't able to do a lot of the rituals around, their ancestors who were passing away or whatever. They just couldn't stick to their stringent traditions. And so, they have a belief system where evil spirits have the power to kill them, but their ancestors protect them. But they all started getting very upset and worried that their traditional rituals, because they weren't able to properly honor their past ancestors, they weren't being protected by from evil spirits. And so
Yikes.
all of these men immigrated to the U.S. and they weren't able at that point because there wasn't enough of them here and they were all spread throughout the U.S. When they immigrated to the U.S., they weren't placed together like in neighborhoods where they could all kind of join together and keep their traditions. They were kind of put all over the U.S. And so all of these men were dying, and essentially they were experiencing sleep paralysis, but it was so strong that it was actually triggering an obscure genetic cardiac arrhythmia that they were predisposed to. So their sleep paralysis actually fucking killed these men.
Wow.
And this was in the 80s.
That's scary.
Yeah, it's really scary. And it was it's just like a bad mix of a lot of things happening. Like, I don't...
Well, who cares? At the end of the day, like, what the scientific cause is for it, the fact that this is happening, it's real.
Yeah.
And it's real to these people. So what's the fucking difference between something supernatural or you know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing, because your brain is so powerful. Like, your brain is so fucking powerful. I can't even describe how powerful it is. It can
we only use 10% of our brains, and what our capabilities of our brains are. So
yeah. I mean, it's crazy. It was so sad that this was happening. And also, it just makes me angry that cultures are whipping these people up into such a tizzy. And, I'm sure so much had to do with, they were probably stressed with moving to the U.S. and having just been in a war and leaving a family behind and not being with other people that, had their same values and shared their traditions. And even, you know, what they look like and what they like to eat and all of these things. Like, you know, you're basically uprooted and put into this new place with no support system. So you have an immense amount of stress. They couldn't get jobs because they were all like farmers, and it's really hard to find that type of work here in the 80s. I mean, everything was moving into like offices, and, you know, there's not a lot of agriculture, I guess, everywhere. And so it was all of this stress. And then on top of it, they had this deeply seated cultural belief that their ancestors weren't protecting them because of something that they did or didn't do, I guess, after their family members had passed. So that really bothers me, because it's like, I don't know. It's like, I just wish people wouldn't have those belief systems, I guess. I mean, I don't know what to say about it, but it's really sad. And
well, because not only is your brain very powerful, a belief system is very powerful too. And when you combine those two things, you are creating, I guess, some sort of magic that you can't really, if you want, I don't know what else to call it. It's
like conditions. Like, you're conditioning your brain based off of something that you're feeding it. Like, your brain doesn't know, or your brain and your like psychology doesn't know that stuff maybe isn't real or isn't important, or you know, you'll survive because you're teaching it that it is important.
And that's assuming that you are fully mentally well. You know, I think, well, and like, I'll just say, if you do experience any anxiety or depression, like, and this could be a possible outcome of it, obviously, but if you are experiencing that, you should absolutely talk to somebody, and, you know, not try to like rationalize like, oh, you know, I'm just having a hard time or whatever. Mental health is the most important thing in the world. It is. It's important, and there's nothing to be ashamed of if it's like you're not feeling great, or if you don't even know what you're supposed to be feeling. You just know that stuff isn't right, and it might be manifesting in this way. Like, I like, please talk to somebody. Like, it's so important. Don't ignore it, and don't think that like you aren't, whatever you're experiencing, don't discount your own feelings, and I don't know, if you're going through something, go talk to somebody.
Have you ever heard of I think he just passed away, but Dr. Sarnos? And he was a doctor that worked with Howard Stern for a while, but Howard Stern used to have like chronic back pain, and Dr. Sarnos wrote a book all about how most people don't actually have anything wrong with their back. It's all of your life and things you hang on to, and like they manifest themselves in your body. And you could see how that happens. Like, oh, I stress eat, or, you know, whatever. Like, sometimes you don't realize that's why you're doing it. But if you look back and you pinpoint, oh, I was really stressed because I had this huge presentation at work. You know, for a month I was leading up into it. I was working really long hours. You see how you can see like how your brain talked your body into doing that. And it's like, I could totally see how your brain could manifest things that you're not addressing into actual physical issues. And I mean, obviously I'm no doctor or scientist, so this is just a thought, but it's all very interesting to me that your brain is such a strong, I mean, it functions, it makes everything function. So
yeah, and it's your computer for everything. Like your arms, your legs, you cry, like you do all these things, like you move around, you talk to people because of your brain.
Yeah. So if you're not, of course it could do things that you're not in charge of.
And if you're not taking care of it, and you're not, you know, if you're, I don't know, having a hard time, like it will affect all other aspects.
You know what? I'm going to give permission to everyone to take a mental health day.
Take a mental health day.
Use a sick day as a mental health day. Go out, take a nice long walk, breathe in fresh air. Enjoy something you like doing, because your work will be there tomorrow.
That's right. And nothing is worth, there is nothing. There's no job. There's no person. There's nothing that's worth feeling shitty about.
Yeah.
So I worked in a job that I was really unhappy in for a long time, and it fucked with my mental health and my physical health. So,
well, also, with the exception of maybe like people in medical professions or you know, people who are firefighters or policemen or those types of things, our jobs aren't that important. My job was never, it felt like it was important, and it felt like, oh, if I make this mistake,
that's right.
People will be so upset. It's like, well, people might get upset, but no one's going to die. No one's life is going to be ruined because an ad didn't go live at the time it was supposed to. And you have to like constantly remind yourself that, or I made a mistake with a dollar amount. Like I converted from pounds to dollars the wrong way. It's like, you know what?
Like, what's the worst that can happen? They're going to fire me?
Right.
Thank God.
Right. Well,
kidding.
I hope I get a severance package.
Yeah. No, well, that was the thing. Like, every time I would start stressing out, you have to put things in perspective and reframe and be like, not saving a life.
Yeah.
I'm not doing God's work. No. I'm doing the opposite of that.
You're doing Satan's work.
I'm doing Satan's work.
Good job, girl.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all I have.
Rant.
Take care. You guys take care of yourselves.
Yeah, we like you guys.
Take care of your brain. Play some brain games so that it keeps working really like well into old age.
You guys, I'm really good at trivia. I've already said it once this episode. And trivia is really great for the brain. You know what? Next time you can't remember a song lyric or the answer to a question, don't fucking Google it. This is my daily brain exercise.
Oh, that's good.
This is my daily brain exercise. I try as hard to remember things as I can before I Google it. It's so easy for someone to ask a question and someone pulls out their phone. No. I know a lot of shit. And if I'm like, no, I know that. Give me 1 minute. I'm going to fucking remember that shit. And I do.
Yeah.
It keeps me from having Alzheimer's at 30-something years old.
Whoops.
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Also, I know this like went to mental health, but I think too, like, sleep is very important.
Oh, yes.
And I know some people can't help it. You know, your brain chemistry might just like not be you might be genetically predisposed to not being a good sleeper. But I have some tips for sleeping well.
Love these.
If you have a TV in your room, get that shit out of there.
Yep.
Especially if you're married, because
less doing it.
Mm-hmm. It takes all the sexiness out of the room.
Yeah. Same
thing with your phone. Mm-hmm. Put your fucking phone in another room and charge it or something. Like, get it out of there. Don't get on your phone after 11 p.m. Mm-mm. Like, and if you absolutely have to, turn that setting on your phone down, like, that makes the screen really bright. Turn it down so it's, like, dimmer.
Yeah.
Also, make your bedroom a fucking spa as much as you can. Get nice linens. You don't have to spend a lot of money. You can go on Amazon and get that shit for like a full sheet set for like $50. Mm-hmm. No. Yeah, those are just a few things.
Yeah, there's just like so many little tricks you could do, and it's you have to kind of
see what works best for you
and recognize like, well, what are your habits before bed? Like, if you're on your phone for 3 hours before bed and you're kind of like keeping your brain awake or whatever, maybe that's not good. If you're eating too late, P.S. we're not experts. We've read all of this on the internet, or done this ourselves, read about it and tried it.
And this is what works for us, and maybe it'll work for somebody else too, but you know.
So listen or don't, we don't fucking care, but
we care. But don't.
I care a little bit, but I'm like not gonna lose sleep over it.
Oh! All right. Well.
All right.
We love you guys.
Yeah. Sweet dreams.
Take care of yourselves. If you do have more, if you're like, I never knew this is a thing and I want to learn more about it, or you have sleep paralysis, there's tons of resources out there. And the sleepparalysis.org is a cool thing that I found on the internet that has good information. But if you're really concerned and you're having a hard time, go to the doctor.
Yeah.
And also, not just like the doctor, but also if you need more than that, just go to talk to somebody professional in general.
Like, not us.
Don't
rely on this podcast for all of your medical advice, because you'll get real fucked up.
Yeah. And that is fucked up.
All
right.
Follow us on social medias at DTFU Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
All the places.
Rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, you guys. We're still trying to get to 50 reviews.
That'd be cool.
That'd be really cool.
On iTunes.
On iTunes, yeah. So, like, leave us one. And maybe we'll even shout you out on our social medias or on the podcast. Write in if you have a topic idea to dtfupodcast@gmail.com. We love getting emails and responding. And join our Facebook group. Dude, that's fucked up.
Join the Facebook group. It's really fun. We're keeping it light, but also fucked up too.
Yeah, we have a bunch of stuff that we're going to post in there. I can't remember any of it from this episode, but we'll listen back and figure it out. Yeah, and I think that's about it, probably.
Yeah. Y'all take care now.
You hear?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.